Hello everyone, a warm welcome to Disha program. We are powered by the Chandra IAS Academy. This is Yatharth here, and in today's video we'll be talking about the major issues faced by India at the moment. Alright, so let's start the video with a concise summary of what we are going to read here. So we're talking about the major issues. Major issues. And when we say India, so India has two things. One is the state, or you can call the nation as an entity, and one is the people. One is the people. All right, India without its people is nothing, just a geographical boundary. Let's say this is India. Okay, so when we say this is India, what we mean essentially is that the people living inside the this geographical boundary. All right, plus the region itself. Plus the region itself. So region plus people make the nation. And in a nation, there are two types of problems, one faced by the entire nation and one faced by the people of the nation. All right, so let's talk about some of these issues. The first issue that we are facing is overpopulation. Overpopulation. So we have a limited area to live. The geography is defined. The geographic boundaries are defined. So we have a limited area to live. All right. Now the resources for the growing population. Either we can grow them here. Let's say we talk about food. So either we can grow our food in our own country, be self-reliant, or we can import it. But if we start importing our complete food, we will be facing issues like Sri Lanka faced. Alright, this country started importing its food, and when during the COVID pandemic everything went down, the tourism went down, the economy went down, Sri Lanka went into a big trouble. So India has to be self-reliant. But we are also having overpopulation, more mouths than the food produced. Alright, the number of people eating the resources are more. So we have a resource imbalance. A resource imbalance. So we are the right now, we are most populous country in the world. We are at number 1, even more than China. China is now at second number. And China is geographically a bigger country even. Alright, so we have overpopulation and resource imbalance means we have less food, we have less water, we have less places to live, and we have more poverty. We have more poverty. The hunger is increasing. The hunger index is increasing. All right, so these issues we are facing because of the overpopulation. Now let's come to the second issue, which is very much related to the overpopulation. What is it? Unemployment. Unemployment. Now there are so many people and so few jobs. Okay, it is directly related to the overpopulation. All right, so there are more people and less things to do. So jobs are lesser than the population or people. That is why we are also struggling with the unemployment. We are a growing economy. We are a growing economy. So it does mean that the jobs are increasing. Jobs are increasing. But population is increasing multifold. Population is increasing more and more. Alright, that is why we are suffering from unemployment. So what does it lead to do? What does the unemployment lead into? So it leads into social unrest, economic instability, and increase in poverty. Increase in poverty. Okay, so what is one major thing that you should read here is the automation, the advent of AI on the jobs. Okay, earlier people were doing things, now AI is doing all those things. Someday it will also be able to do more things and it will render people unemployed. Okay, so we need to work on the skill development. Skill development because there are few things that AI will never be able to do. All right. Now let us talk about one more thing that has been into much news recently, that is economic inequality. Economic inequality. So we had a lecture on this also. Economic inequality basically means the distribution of the assets between the rich and the poor. That means 10% of the rich people, they have so much of assets, and remaining 50, 60, 70%, they have so few of the assets overall. All right, that means rich are very rich, rich are very rich, and the poor are very poor. And this keeps on increasing. This gaps keeps on increasing. Okay, so it also leads to economic instability, social divide. Social divide is very important here. Social divide. Okay, and imbalance in the use of resources, in the use and distribution of the resources. So what are the possible solution? Possible solutions are implementing progressive taxation. Okay, taxation is one solution to this, but you can also read about the Laffer's curve. The Laffer's curve. It talks about how much taxation will lead to the eventual revenue collection for government. Okay, so basically it says, Laffer's curve says that the more taxation eventually will lead to a downfall in the revenue of the government. Why? Because more people will not be interested in paying this tax, they will be angry, and they will be not paying tax by one means or the other. Okay, next thing we talk about is, this all we will talk in the economy lecture. I'll be taking that very soon. The next issue we are facing, the fourth number, is the environment degradation. Environment degradation. So what does this mean? I already told you that in India we are having various geographical hotspots. Okay, let's assume this is India. So we are having various geographical hotspots such as the Western Ghats, such as the Eastern Ghats, such as the Northeast, as well as the Himalayan region. Okay, so this part of India is very biodiversity rich, very biodiversity. Just a second. Okay, biodiversity rich. Now, because of the environment degradation, even the Andaman and Nicobars, okay, there also we are facing many issues because of the new projects. Recently in Assam, Vedanta has got a project. It is news from yesterday only. Okay, so these now when we see Vedanta, so in Assam there are hulok gibbons. Hulok gibbons. These are type of monkeys. Okay, so they are endangered because of this project. All right, next thing. So what else does it lead to? It leads to climate change. This environment degradation leads to climate change. If you remember in Disha only we had a lecture about the these Western Ghats and the protected reserves, protected areas, and the EPZ or environmental protected zone. So in 10-kilometer radius, you cannot build anything. So that was an issue between the center and states. Okay, so these all things you can read in the environment. Okay, there are multiple different missions from the government, such as the Swachh Bharat mission, Clean Ganga project, and we have our own goals about the net zero also, about the net zero. So you can read about them. Next, in brief, we will see what is the fifth issue. Fifth issue is the internal security issue. It is the internal security issue. So this you can see very recently in the Naxals areas, in the Manipur. So these happen because of the few more. One is political ideology such as the Naxalism, communalism, or communism. All right, Naxalism, communism. Then there is you can take Maoism. So all of these are form of some similar sort of ideology which go or drive towards the self-governance. Okay, they want to dissociate from the state. Second thing is it can happen because of the regionalism. And third, it can happen because of the ethnical issues or ethnic identity, ethnicity or ethnical identities. So this all is happening in the states of Northeast, especially in the Northeast and Chhattisgarh, etc. Okay, so India suffers from internal security issues such as terrorism, Maoism, Naxalism, which is harming from inside, which is harming from inside, harmful from inside to other people living in those areas. Okay, you can talk about the Salva Judum here and different things. So this is one aspect that you should read about. Okay, next we see is the international relations. International relations. So India has had a neutral policy when it comes to the international relations. So recently you might have seen India's interaction with the Ukraine and Russia both. But India is not having very good relations with some of the neighboring countries. Let's say one is Pakistan, our immediate neighbor. Okay, we are not having very good interaction with the Sri Lanka also and Nepal also. Okay, Bhutan we have good relations, but with Myanmar we do not have good relations as of now because of the Janta government here. Chinese influence in the Nepal and Chinese influence in Sri Lanka is also little harmful to us. So Pakistan is having influence with China also right now, and we do not also have very good relations with Afghanistan because of the Taliban government. Okay, next we have different countries like Maldives. So these countries are also little bit hostile to us. So these are the issues India is facing with its immediate neighbors. Right now we're talking about Bangladesh, let's say. So in Bangladesh, we saw that Sheikh Hasina was ousted. Sheikh Hasina fled the country and came to India. Okay, so when there was Sheikh Hasina, we had good relations with Bangladesh. But now what is happening that Sheikh Hasina has been ousted from her seat and army has taken over and a new government has been formed under the Nobel laureate Yunus Khan. Okay, so they may seek support from China or other countries, but not India. Okay, because this government is anti-India basically. And the last thing we are also suffering from is disaster management. So this is a consequence of the climate change, but you should read about it, which is disaster management. So this is because of our strategy to deal with the climate change. Our strategy is the adaptation. Adaptation. Okay, so because of adaptation, we are seeking resources so that we can adapt to the disaster caused by the climate changes. Okay, so this is one of the issue that climate change is causing multiple disasters every year, each year, whether it is floods, whether it is heat, it is excessive rainfall, or extreme weather events of any sort. Okay, so India is facing these disaster management issues where we lose lives every year. Okay, there is a loss of life every year. You can just saw very recently in Kerala what happened. Landslide happened because of excessive rainfall and overdevelopment. Okay, because of this huge gradient and overdevelopment, soil erosion happened, landslide happened, many people died. So this is also one of the issue that India is facing. So overall, you can read about them. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can let me know in the comment section. Have a very good day and see you soon in the next lecture. This is Yatharth here, signing off.